What I find most interesting about traveling is how much we're the same and how much we're different at the same time. I've spoken with my friends many times and we said how all humans have the same basic needs and desires: to be loved, to be secure, to have purpose, to love, and so forth. So it's interesting to see how in every culture, in every country, the same thing is present in everybody, but they pursue it in particularly different ways. Yeah, in some places they have big emphasis on food. Some of them have big emphasis on family. Some of them have big emphasis on how you are contributing to the society. How are you contributing to the community? So it's really interesting to see how everybody pursues it differently. Beauty is definitely subjective. So for me to say which country I found the most beautiful, hold on, let me think. It's complicated, so many different things. The country that I found the most beautiful, I would say, would be somewhat of a tie between West Africa, Ivory Coast, and Colombia. Both are somewhat similar in many ways, but in Ivory Coast especially, I remember just traveling through the country and seeing all the different nature and all the green, and everybody was really chill and really relaxed, really easy to have a good time and be happy. I always felt safe. We were by the coast, so we could always go to the beach anytime we wanted to. The food was amazing. So Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, Costa de Marfil was probably one of the most beautiful countries I've been to. But Colombia, honestly, is very, very close. I find the culture and the people of Colombia to be very friendly, very fun-loving, very active and hyper and very energetic. And it always depends on what part of the country you're visiting, obviously. The parts of the Costañas people, I feel like, are way more relaxed. Rural people, the people in Bogota, in that area, have a very proud culture within themselves. But the paisas they have a very completely different vibe that not everybody does know how to put words to, but it's always fun to be here, especially in Medellin. When I went to Kuwait, I joined this sports team. It's Irish sports team. The game is called Gaelic football. It's almost exactly like soccer, football, but you can also pick the ball up with your hands. So it's more like soccer, not rugby, but like soccer. So you can have the same movement as soccer, but a football, but you could also pick up the ball with your hands, punch it, and play, pass it to your other players and so forth. It's a really fun game with really great people. Irish people are really fun to play with. I don't know why, but they just always have a great time playing with each other. And we had our first tournament in Bahrain, which is a small peninsula country off of Saudi Arabia. And it's a big tournament. And it includes teams from countries in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, many countries. So we all met up in Bahrain and we had the tournament. And this is the first time that we were able to get out of the country. It was our first holiday outside of the country for all of us who were in Kuwait. So we were really excited to be out and be with other teams and play this game like full on. And in Bahrain, at this time, this is 2012, October 2012. And the years before this, like maybe a year or so before this, they were having what they called the Arab Springs. There were a lot of revolutions, that were happening with the people, a lot of revolutions happening amongst the people against the government. And some of it was justifiable, some of them were just really angry for many different reasons. But I always wanted to see how the people were standing up to the big governments. And after the tournament, the next day we were all like getting ready to leave, and we're all gonna have a brunch with all the other teams. We're gonna all have brunch with the other teams. And me and a few of us decided we're gonna go and check out some of these protests. Check it out, not necessarily join in, get in it, but we just wanted to observe it. So we found this taxi. We told him, hey, we want to go check out some of the, the protests, see what's happening, get a full understanding of what's going on with the people. And he said, oh, it's a holiday right now, so there's no protests because it's a religious holiday. But I can show you around. I can give you a little tour, and we see what was able to be seen. So we said, okay, fine, we'll get in the car with him. He's driving us around. He's showing us all these different things. Some posters about this, posters about that. Some meetup places that they have for the protests. This is where they have the square that they had one of the biggest protests here. And he's showing us all this different stuff, and we're like, oh, this is pretty interesting, cool. And then he's driving us down this small street, and there's people sitting on the corner just having coffee, and they see us slowly passing by, and they see us, and they look at each other, and they get up and they walk over to the driver and they stop the car. They're like, hey, wait, and they ask the driver, who are these people? And he's like, oh, they're just some tourists. They wanted to see everything. And they're like, no, we don't know who these people are. They said, pull the car over. And they open the door and they ask us, like, who are you guys? And we're like, we're just teachers. We're not reporters, nothing. We're just teachers. We're on vacation. We decided to see what's happening here, nothing more. And they're like, you guys came to see what's happening with our protest, but you're not reporter, you're not from the government. Like, no, we're just teachers. They're like, okay, get out of the car. And we're like, what? They're like, get out of the car, come with us. And we're like, okay, fine. I don't know why we decided to go with them, but we're like, okay, fine, we'll get out of this taxi and follow these people. And they walked us over to this building with this gigantic door. And they said, all right, you guys want to see what the protest is about? We'll show you. And they opened the door, and basically we found ourselves in the middle of the headquarters of the opposition group. And they had people like all over the building, like on the second floor, on the first floor, just like putting up posters, making banners, making signs, all kinds of stuff. And we're just like amazed, like, oh my God, this is really happening. We're in the middle of it, in the center of it. And they walk us through, they take us to different parts of the building, showing us what they do. This is where they educate the people, the kids. This is where they go take care of some of the widows. This is where they make food for the protests, all kinds of stuff. At the end, they invite us, they said, here, sit on the floor, we'll bring some food for you, enjoy us, we invite you to lunch. So they brought out this platter of food for us all to eat, and we just sat there eating with our hands on the floor and just kept us telling us stories about what they saw, what they experienced, show us some videos. And there's one kid in particular, it's a 15-year-old kid, who was showing us one of his videos. And it was just a bunch of the people just like in the streets clapping in unison all together. And they're kind of showing like how they're unified. Also they're showing that they're all unarmed to the police. So we're unarmed and we're here to just protest and tell us we want change. So at the end of it, they showed us everything. They walked us back to our taxi and we said thank you and everything. And we went back to the brunch to meet all our friends, and we were like trying to eat with our friends, but at the same time trying to process the experience we just went through. I wanted to see from the outside this Arab revolution, and I ended up getting in the middle of it, and it was really amazing.